News Radio KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 72 degrees with partly cloudy skies and little to no wind. Tonight, increasing clouds in a low around 41. Those clouds sticking around through mid-morning tomorrow, then a gradual clearing with sunny skies in the afternoon and a high near 72. Mostly clear in a low of around 46 on Thursday night as we head to Friday, sunny and a high near 76. Overnight low of 50 on Friday, 72 and sunny to start the weekend on Saturday. The game is next on News Radio KMAN.
KMAN Daily Weather is presented by Fox Business Systems. How much does downtime cost you and your business? Don't let another second go by. Call Fox Business Systems at 776-1452.
The following is an exclusive presentation of News Radio KMAN, your home for K-State athletics. It's game time. This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
I got to open up today's show by giving a shout out to some very important people. Shout out to my Western Michigan Broncos. 1 down, 5 to go, people. I'm coming after you in the Mitch and Vegas standings. We shook it up this week. We started Tuesday with some action. We're doing a game a week through the rest of the work week, 2 games on Saturday, and I'm 1 for 1, folks. I knew Brock Lowry could get it done. Jalen Buckley, Christian Leary, Devin Miles, Talik Williams, Baylon Brooks. They got it done for me, baby. Western Michigan beats the Ohio Bobcats 17-13. A big win for myself and Mitch in Vegas. And now we're rooting for Miami of Ohio. Take down those Toledo Rockets, and they don't even have to win the game. Just don't lose by more than 4 points.
You know, it's good to know that I'm terrible at picking against the lines, not only in Big 12 play, Power 4 play in general, but also, Maction is not exempt from my terrible bets.
Maction coming through for me, man. And I tell you what, people, if you're not tuning into Maction, if you haven't been doing this, if this isn't being passed down to another generation by this point, what are you doing? This is a great time to be alive because now we're having college football 5 days a week. It's great when the middle of October rolls around as we were getting more than just Maction. I think, what were we getting, like Conference USA football? It's not Maction, but it's a little something. You can wet your beak a little bit. You itch a scratch.
I think the Sun Belt gets involved on some early weekdays too.
Itch a scratch. It's the same thing. But yes, I don't know if you grew up with Maction. I grew up with Maction.
I didn't really. Again, I wasn't like a big college sports household. It was mainly professional stuff.
Tonight's kickoff, 6 o'clock, Miami of Ohio, Toledo. Plus you have, Northern Illinois at UMass. Big game there. UMass hasn't won a game yet. They could win tonight. Central Michigan and Buffalo. Man, into my veins, people. Find that vein. Right in there. Hey, we got a big show today. We are packed for 2 hours because we don't have a show tomorrow. We got a doubleheader of K-State men's and women's basketball. Women play first, 4 o'clock tip, pregame 3:30 against the Coyotes of South Dakota. And then the main event of the evening, it is K-State Cal men's basketball, the return of Day-Day Ames. And to preview, MitchPom is coming up at 5:10. Plus, I have not one, but 2 pairs of tickets in my hands for tomorrow's men's game against Cal. So if you'd like to win, they're not together, so I'm not giving away together. It's 2 separate pair. I'm looking for 2 winners. So text Cal to 785-537-1350 if you'd like to win a pair. Again, text Cal to 785-537-1350. Cole will find us a couple of winners in hour number 2. Plus, our preview with Oklahoma State beat writer McClain Baxley from GoPokes.com. And in hour number 1, the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, will be joining us. And guys, it's Wednesday. And you know what that means. 1 cage, 2 rings, 3 words: blood and guts. It's one of the more brutal nights on the calendar for AEW. As tonight, Blood and Guts is from the First Horizon Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina, where once upon a time, K-State men's basketball under first-year head coach Jerome Tang beat a couple of jabrones to get to the Sweet 16. But that's where Blood and Guts is tonight. You get not 1, but 2 matches, including the first ever women's Blood and Guts matchup. But that also means we're joined by K-State Online. And this week, he used to be a host on this show. You now know him as from the KSO show on YouTube, PowerCat Game Day right here on K-Man and 101.5 K-Rock, which we got a 7 o'clock takeoff Monday morning, or Saturday morning. We're joined by Mason Voth from K-State Online. Mason, all I've seen from you, I feel like this week, is talk about the McRib. The reason I know the McRib is back, because of you. I've never had a McRib in my life. Are they that good?
I used to think they were, and then so I didn't know they were back. Obviously, as a McRib connoisseur, I know that we're getting into that time of the year. But my wife had gone to McDonald's over her lunch break. You know, we moved different sides of Wichita, so she doesn't come home for lunch anymore. And so she was like, well, I need to run out and get lunch today. So she went, and she's like, the McRib is back. I said, oh, say less. So I had one last week, and I don't know, it just didn't hit the same as it used to. So I don't know if it's like my taste buds changing as I get older or what, but it's still good. I'm still going to get it because, you know, seasonal, limited time, but it's not what it used to be to me. And so I didn't think much of it. And then Steve Wiltfong, who's one of our national recruiting guys, made a post about it today with some fancy little McRib graphic. And it got me thinking about the time at Big 12 Media Day about 3 or 4 years ago, where I asked Chris Kleiman if he was a fan of the McRib.
That's an awkward video, Mason, because it looks like Kleiman is trying to get away from you. He's trying to move on with his day, and then he hit him with the McRib question.
Well, he was definitely getting ready to leave in general, like they were done for the day. And so the way it worked, I was still working in radio in Wichita at the time, and so I had already done my morning show. And so I was just there getting random stuff throughout the day to play on the days ahead or getting things for our afternoon show. And so I was on with them, and they said, can you ask Chris Kleiman if he's a fan of the McRib? Just to ask him some kind of off-the-wall question or whatever. And I said, well, I already talked to him, so I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that. And they said, well, go find him. I was like, all right, fine. So I ran up on him, very TMZ gotcha style, phone in his face, just quickly, are you the McRib or a fan of the McRib? He just gave me a very dissatisfactory no. But I could tell by the way that Gene Taylor was laughing in the background at it, that's a guy that likes the McRib too.
What about fast food could I ask you about to get that kind of Chris Kleiman reaction? Like, what's the fast food either item or restaurant that you don't like?
I mean, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm pretty open-minded, but I kind of have to be because my wife is not. You know, I think most men listening to this can relate to where when you're, you know, out and about and your wife says, oh, just pick something, and then you throw out like 5 different ideas and none of them sound good to her, or she's still like, I don't want to pick, you pick. So then I'm like, oh, let's do this, and it's just an auto no. Man, I'm trying to think of what really gets me soured when I hear it. I mean, there's things that I think are overrated or that I would not be interested in. But I mean, if you're going to a fast food place, like they're typically not going to be bad. I mean, it would be types of cuisine that I would say no to. To changing taste buds and getting older. The thing that I am aging on is I'm really not a big Taco Bell guy anymore. I don't see, there's nothing good that comes out of it in the moment or certainly after. And I think my take that is aging well with me is that I would rather have my wife make tacos at home than get tacos from Taco Bell.
Well, let's check in with our local T-Bell correspondent, Cole Dutchendorf. because him and I, along with some Mercury guys, after some Manhattan games on the road, T-Bell is open, and we're going to Taco Bell. Does it still hit the spot?
I think it's good occasionally, but you can't press the T-Bell button too often. Otherwise, I mean, it just becomes all one piece of mush in your mouth, and you don't want that happening.
I think if you press it once in a 3-month span, like that's the point where I'm at, where I'm like, that's too much. So I think my Taco Bell days are behind me. I think that's been given up on.
All right, Mason, let's talk. Let's lead off with some K-State men's basketball. Are you living your dream right now? It's a ton of offense, so defense. Is this what you pictured in your dreams growing up?
Yeah, this is pretty close to what I want to see from a basketball team right now. I mean, they are playing fast. They're getting threes up. They're knocking them down. And who really cares if you're playing defense? Now, look, I did not like how they played defense against Newman in the exhibition game. Like, there's a line with my screw-off defense opinion. Like, you can't give up 90 points to, like, a terrible Division II team out of the south side of Wichita. But since then, they've played better defense against UNCG, and I thought they were better against Bellarmine. And really the only thing that hampered them against Bellarmine was they drove down the shot clock a decent amount against them. They just didn't force as many turnovers as they had against Greensboro. So I think as long as they get back to doing that, that's going to be the key for this team this year, is as long as they can be around the neighborhood of even in the turnover race with their opponent, their offense is going to give them a chance to win every single game they play.
So we talked about this the other day. You're saying that K-State's at time, really, it's more than just at a time. It's a little too much for me right now. Not enough defense can kind of ruin the enjoyment of what the offense is doing. I think that's true for most of the fan base, because you're hearing it in Bramlage that the cheers aren't as loud because the defense is giving up too many easy buckets. But for you, that's not ruining the octane of the offense?
No, because they've had these stretches in these games where they just get insanely hot. It comes fast and furious, and that's enjoyable. Now, it's frustrating to watch, the score incrementally go up in some of the moments, or to struggle and be behind a little at times. Like, that's not fun to watch, or not how you want to see it happen. But I think early on, you kind of have to deal with that. And the thing that people have to remember, I do too, doesn't mean that we have to like it, because I certainly don't, is Jerome Tang has spent these 4 games, 2 exhibition and 2 real ones, toying with his lineups and playing guys that I sure hope are not playing early or significant minutes tomorrow night against Cal, or definitely by the time BYU comes to town and kicks off conference play in a month and a half, are playing. So that's one area where we kind of have to step back and think a little bit. The good is far outweighing any of the bad right now. And I haven't been able to find any true red flags with this team right now. That's how fun and good it has been overall.
I could probably take a guess right now and nail who exactly you're thinking about that you don't want to see playing here very soon. My guess is CJ
Buka.
Yeah, well, and CJ Jones, but Doreen Buka was the other one.
Yeah, he's just not ready for it yet. And he was the guy of all the additions in the offseason that I was the most skeptical about. Because of the level that he was playing against overseas professionally. It was not to the same level of experience in terms of talent-wise that Kostic and Rapiak had faced. So I just had concerns, and we've seen it kind of play out. I just don't know that he has it right now. Maybe he can get it figured out, like they said media days, that like he's kind of been in this bubble. They got to try to find ways to unlock him a little bit more. We'll see. But the time is coming to an end to try to figure that out in game. That needs to be figured out and workshopped in practice before we see significant or early minutes from him moving forward. Because I really think, and you're going to get a chance to do it against Cal tomorrow night if you're K-State, to play a smaller lineup and go with, the 4 that are going to make you thrive on offense and hit your ceiling this year in Bashir, Haggerty, Johnson, and Kostic, with then either Rapiak or McGriff. And because Cal, their biggest guy is 6'10" that's going to play. They have two of them, but they don't play on the floor together that much. So you're going to be able to match up size-wise with Cal and really try to force the issue in this game. So there isn't going to be as much of a need tomorrow night to play some of the extra guys that have size, and that might give K-State a chance to show us a little bit more of what I think they'll look like when we get to, game 14 or 15 this year.
If the game is in hand, I would not mind seeing Buka against Cal's 7-footer, who's barely played. He's very green, and is kind of a, he's awkward as Buka is. I don't know. I would kind of like to see how that would go down.
Look, big guys are just awkward in basketball. Unless your name is Dirk Nowitzki, you're going to look awkward out there. And even as graceful as Dirk was, he was like awkwardly graceful. So it's just not something that, big guys weren't really meant to play basketball. And then people were like, well, I guess, we can kind of cheat the system with their size and that'll help us. So then they did become built to play basketball, but they don't play like what makes basketball beautiful or fun to enjoy, because they're just big dudes out there taking up space and they're closer to the basket. So it makes life a little bit easier for them.
One more thought. You and Drew put out a video today, and I haven't watched it yet, but what the title is saying is basically you're comparing this Cal game tomorrow. Like, it feels like Dublin. It feels like LSU last year. I get the LSU comparison because of Day-Day Ames. Why is it? I need you to explain, why does this feel like Dublin to you?
So it's got some similarities in it to this, where if K-State loses the game tomorrow, doesn't change anything that they can achieve this season. They can still make the NCAA tournament. It doesn't mean they're going to be bad, all of these other things. But it's early in the year. It's a significant opponent. And it is going to, because of how things have transpired over the last two seasons, put you under a microscope. And if you fail in this game, if you're K-State, you're going to have a hard time keeping fans on board until you do something good after. And similar to what K-State faced after they lost in Ireland to Iowa State, you come back after that game, and the schedule is not a cakewalk from that point moving forward, where you'll get the game against Tulsa at home. You should win that one. But then you go to Kansas City, and you're going to play two games that if you can lose at home to Cal, you can definitely lose there. So the schedule gets wonky because then it's at Indiana. You're going to have Creighton coming up down the line. Like, a loss to Cal set some things in motion that could give you more losses than you anticipated. Has a tough time getting people bought back in, and it's kind of just this, here we go again. Team's gonna suck. We're not going to get what we want out of them. So I think in terms of fan engagement and then what it could mean for the team rolling out of this, that's why this game to me feels a little bit like what was going on in Ireland for K-State football.
Mason Voth from KSO is our guest. We'll take our break. He joins us for one more segment, and we'll switch to football after these words on KMAN.
Miss any of the show? Check out the Game podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and of course, NewsRadioKMAN.com. You're listening to The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Okay, so you need an unforgettable feast for your party. You need it to be delicious, easy, and affordable. You need everything to be just right for your guests. You need to call Qdoba Catering. With Qdoba Catering's buffet-style taco bar, nacho bar, or naked burrito bar, everyone can create their own hot, fresh, tasty dish just the way they like it. Visit Qdoba.com for ordering information. Then simply call, create, and enjoy the party with catering from Qdoba Mexican Grill.
Make Qdoba Catering the flavor of your holiday fiesta.
Medicare's annual enrollment is here, October 15th through December 7th. It's your chance to review or change your prescription drug plan. Premiums, copays, and even which medications are covered can change every year. Don't risk paying more or having your prescriptions left out. I'm Malia McKinney with L&L Advisors. I'll compare your plans side by side to make sure your medications are covered at the best cost. Local, genuine, and here for you. Call 785-280-9621 today.
Jeff Collier was Kansas's 47th governor and the Kansas chairman of Donald Trump's 2024 campaign. There's a reason President Trump said Jeff Collier was one hell of a governor. Collier cut taxes, eliminated wasteful spending, and created record jobs. He stood with law enforcement and kept our communities safe. And he took on the radical liberals to protect life and our religious liberty. Jeff Collier will always advance the America First agenda.
I'm Jeff Collier. As your governor, more Kansans were working than ever before. I took a scalpel to wasteful spending, and with law enforcement, we kept our community safe. I stood shoulder to shoulder with President Trump to get the job done.
A man of incredible integrity and class, your governor, Jeff Collier. Jeff is a great guy. He's doing a really incredible job. You have one hell of a governor.
Let's keep fighting for what's right. Let's put America and Kansas first.
Paid for by Kansas First Inc. Gary Harshberger, Treasurer.
Come on home to West Loop and Manhattan's West Side.
PowerCat Sports Grill, where friends, fans, and families watch every game.
One stop, Little Apple Toyota, Little Apple Honda.
K-State Credit Union, truly local, truly yours.
Visit some old friends, discover some new. Come home to West Loop and Manhattan's West Side.
Manhattan Broadcasting is an equal opportunity employer. In order to widely publicize our job opportunities and outreach programs and organizations that regularly distribute information to job seekers or refers candidates to employers, please contact us about our employment contact list to receive the most current information about station vacancies. For more information or to be added to the list, please contact Manhattan Broadcasting Company at 785-776-1350. Visit us at 2414 Casement Road in Manhattan, Kansas, or email front desk at 1350kman.com.
I'm Cole Dutchendorf with the Game Sports Update brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. K-State women's basketball officially signed guard Sage Henry out of Arizona for the 2026-27 roster early Wednesday afternoon. Henry, who verbally committed to the Wildcats back in June, chose K-State over Missouri, Cal, Utah, and several other schools. In her junior season at Hamilton in the state of Arizona, Henry averaged 15 points, 6 boards, and 2 steals per game, helping the Huskies to a 6A state championship. K-State will be back in action Thursday for a men's and women's doubleheader, with the women tipping off at 4 against South Dakota, with pregame coverage beginning at 3:30 on both News Radio KMAN and Sunny 102.5. K-State football head coach Chris Kleiman spoke with the media on Monday ahead of K-State's road game at Oklahoma State this Saturday. He said that despite the Cowboys' record, just 1-8 on the season and 0-6 in Big 12 play, there are still several challenges that they present the Wildcats.
They're coming off an open week, and they'd played 7 games in a row, I think. The fact that they have a bunch of seniors, I'm sure that have some pride and want to find a way to get a big win, and they've played some teams really well at home. And so for us, it's about us, really, of making sure we have really good preparation and have great energy and play with great physicality. They've got some really good football players. So
Kickoff Saturday is at 11 a.m., PowerCat game day at 7.
The game continues. We're with Mason Voth from K-State Online. Mason, before we dig into a couple of K-State football topics, do you want to take a moment to drool over Jacob Rodriguez like the rest of us have this week and last week, and his Heisman hopes and all that?
No, don't care about it. Hope he wins the Heisman, though. I mean, he's a deserving defensive player. It'd be good for the Big 12, but no, I've given zero thought to Jacob Rodriguez this week. I do have a couple of things that I want to say. Number one, got a better answer to your fast food question. Don't know that it really counts as fast food, but my Hutch, Reno County people out there, I'm not a big Ken's Pizza guy. So anytime growing up, my family or people I'm with were like, oh, we should go to Ken's. Hutch people lose their mind over Ken's. No, not for me. I mean, I'd rather eat the box that they serve the pizza in than Ken's Pizza. No offense, Ken's, just not my style. Secondly, love hearing the West Loop ad. I mean, come down to just so good. And then also, I heard one of the gubernatorial ads you were playing. One of the candidates for governor showed up to the Sunflower Showdown game. I don't know if you saw this. Was wearing a KU button-up shirt but had a K-State purple T-shirt on underneath that you could see kind of showing through in pictures. Absolutely hate that. You can't be doing that, but that is just politics to a T. So I just wanted to point that out. It blew my mind. I'm like, come on, we got to have better awareness. You get more respect for me as a politician if you're just like, yeah, I'm here for KU. Rock it. Yes, roll with your team. None of this both ways stuff when it comes to college teams. So just had to throw those three things out there. Take it away, Mitch.
So a quick couple of things about Ken's Pizza. I just looked him up on the Goog, and a 4.5 on Google, on the Google reviews, not bad. And I was looking at some of the pictures of the inside. It looks very 90s Pizza Hut old school. I do like that a lot. That can make up for the poor pizza quality.
Well, look, other people would tell you that the pizza quality is actually really good there, and they're probably right for them. It's just not for me. But, yes, people like it because they've got the buffet every day and the style inside. Like, it's a big deal to Hutch people, just not this one.
I'm going to save Dylan Edwards' talk for Power Keg Game Day. I keep it moving on Power Keg Game Day with the topics. I've set aside a 10-minute window to talk about Dylan Edwards on Saturday. We've seen it now for weeks. People are really worried about the future, big picture, all that stuff. Are you right now thinking, like, forward thinking? Are you freaking out about the future because of this season?
I mean, I don't know that I'm freaking out now because of the future, but, like, it was pretty apparent after 4 games this year that this team was going to underachieve once again, and it was even more disastrous than the last 2 years where they shouldn't have come up short like they did. So I already had questions about the future of K-State football before the Dylan Edwards thing. Now it's like, if anything, Dylan Edwards no longer being a part of the program should make you feel better about K-State's future. You don't have to deal with any of the extra stuff that comes with it, where even if it wasn't coming from inside, the outside's like, is he going to leave? What's going to happen with him? You don't have to worry about it anymore. And now it makes it an easy, singular focus for you to say, okay, number one thing we have to do this offseason when it comes to player acquisition is finding a number one running back in the transfer portal. We can even find a number 2, and we're not going to upset anybody's feelings because Dylan Edwards is gone. He was the only guy that had the talent that was worth being cautious of what the feelings were. If other guys on this roster get upset right now at running back, okay, good luck. See you later. This team can move on without you. We've seen this year, based off the production, that the guys playing aren't valuable enough to this team's success if they want to be a Big 12 title contender moving forward. So I actually think it makes things better for K-State that Dylan Edwards isn't here. But it's not like a big bump in any way. My concerns are going to come and be answered when we see what Chris Kleiman decides to do with some of the other members of the program when the season comes to an end against Colorado. I mean, I've said it publicly. I want instant action. That Sunday after you beat Colorado and the regular season comes to an end, we need to be hearing immediately about the changes that are being thought of or going to be made, because things cannot stay the same with this football program. You failed the last 3 seasons. And I don't care if you still say, hey, 8-9 wins, it's tough to do. That is true. And you shouldn't be fired for it, but you should be considering making sweeping changes, because that is not what the standard or goal should be in the new Big 12. You should be one of the big dogs. You had one of the most talent set-up teams in K-State football history relative to what you'd be facing in your league. And K-State's kind of getting lapped right now by a bunch of newcomers to the party that normally win 6-7 games a year.
Was K-State losing safety Hannibal Navies on a flip to Arizona? Is that a problem?
No, not at all. I mean, I told this to Drew, but that's a guy right there. You can find a 3-star DB anywhere you look in high school football recruiting. It's not that hard to do. And K-State just wasn't going to run it up to signing day and say, okay, we're going to take this many at this position, but we might lose this guy, and then we have to scramble. We don't know. You'd rather just get it over with, know if he is or isn't going to be here right now. And the easiest way to do it was to know he wasn't going to be here. You move on. They got some other things in the hopper. They're going to be just fine without him.
All right, so last thought on the recruiting is that K-State has 16, I believe the count is 16 commits. And there were some guys that were saying that they're going to make their commitment here soon. Are we feeling any of those that have K-State maybe in the final 3, 4, whatever it is? Do we feel like any of them are going to pick K-State?
Carnell Jackson, the defensive lineman out of Arkansas who was committed to Arkansas. I think that's the one right now that I would have my eyes on the most. I think K-State was right there in the thick of it when he made his initial decision, and now he's going to choose between K-State and West Virginia. Based off of what we heard, we don't have an indication one way or the other. Neither does the West Virginia side of it. So this will be kind of interesting. You think back to last year, Sirius Stinyard was a DB that was committed to West Virginia. They fired Neil Brown, and he said, I'm hopping on board with K-State on signing day. So I think as long as Carnell Jackson hasn't had things change with the situation, that's one where my gut instinct right now would tell me that it's going to be K-State, but nobody on either side really knows. So it could be a totally different ballgame now than what it was a few months ago.
All right, Mason, we got Power Cat Game Day on Saturday, 7 a.m. sharp. We'll talk to you then. Thank you for your time.
All right, we'll see you. Mason
Voth from KSO joining us here on The Game. Appreciate his time as KSO joins us every Wednesday at the beginning of every show. All right, let's go ahead and take a timeout. Still MitchPom versus Cal. And by the way, your second call, because I'm giving away not one, but two pairs of men's basketball tickets versus Cal tomorrow night, 8 o'clock tip-off, Bramlage Coliseum, the Octagon of Doom. If you want to win a pair, text Cal to 785-537-1350. Again, that phone number, 785-537-1350. If you want to win a pair, text Cal, and in the second hour, we'll be drawing for two winners to win a pair of tickets each. The voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holthus. Coming up next.
Your home for K-State sports.
Noel, hot pass. Runs it down, puts it up late clock. Oh, are you kidding? Okay.
This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Following a bye week, K-State football is heading south to Stillwater this Saturday to take on the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Kickoff is set for 11 a.m. That means Power Cat Game Day, the biggest pregame show in the Big 12, will begin at 7 a.m. Power Cat Game Day is brought to you by Prairie Land Partners, Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Center, Culver's, and the McCain Performance Series. Listen to Power Cat Game Day on 101.5 K-Rock, News Radio KMAN, and online at PowerCatGameDay.com.
In Manhattan, building community means more than bricks and beams. It means innovation and partnership. At McCown Gordon Construction, we deliver feature-focused solutions to projects that shape our region. From advanced research labs to vibrant education, healthcare, and community hubs. We're not just building projects, we're building the future of the Flint Hills with unmatched customer experience and value-driven strategies. We're building for tomorrow. Visit kansas.mcCownGordon.com.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Sometimes timing is everything in sports, and for the Mavericks, the timing might actually be right. Letting go of GM Nico Harrison, after not allowing him the time to see his post-Luka plan play out, may seem unfair. After all, Dallas still has plenty of talent, but when you dig a little deeper, this move feels less like panic and more like preparation. The Mavs roster is one of the oldest in the NBA. Klay Thompson, Kyrie, Anthony Davis, all on the wrong side of 30, and the franchise has limited control of its first-round picks. Not exactly a recipe for sustained success. If ownership didn't believe in Harrison and that he would be the architect to guide the next phase, cutting ties now makes sense. You don't want a lame duck GM making decisions that will shape the next decade. You want to give the new leader time, flexibility, and vision to build the Mavs' future. It's never easy to hit the reset, but sometimes doing it early is the only way to get it right. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Guys, don't propose with a ring that she didn't pick out. Trust us, she already has a ring in mind. So engage with Gage Diamonds, in person or online. where Gage's skilled ring designers will work with her to create the perfect setting, matched with the perfect stone. Gage specializes in exquisite lab-grown diamonds. Financing available. GageDiamonds.com, where engagement's middle name.
Hiya, Queen of All Knowledge here, reminding you, creeps out there on the internet hack, scam, and trick savvy cyber users every day, but we can fight back. It's as easy as IC3. If you're a victim of online crime, don't give up. Visit IC3, the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. Your tips help the FBI track down cyber criminals around the world. Report your crime to www.ic3.gov today.
If you've missed the Kim Komando Show, you've missed a lot.
Yeah, they forced Claude to unlearn all the information it got from the pirated technology.
And it's a $1.5 billion landmark settlement. A reader from the current newsletter sent me a note. He put his name in. He made $6,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah, not bad for getting a free newsletter.
America's digital goddess.
Kim Komando. Saturday mornings at 9 on News Radio KMAN. News Radio KMAN. Weather.
Right now in Manhattan, partly cloudy skies, 72 degrees, wind out of the east at just around 3 miles per hour. Tonight, increasing clouds and a low around 41. Those clouds sticking around through the mid-morning tomorrow, and then a gradual clearing with sunny skies and a high near 72 in the afternoon. Mostly clear and a low around 46 tomorrow night as we head to Friday, sunny with a high near 76. Sunny and a high near 72 to start your weekend on Saturday.
It's one of my favorite theme songs in AEW right now, the Death Riders theme song. I mean, it tells you bad guys are coming, look out. When I hear this, I feel like I want to break into my own house when I hear this song. Just changes my attitude. All right, we're back on the game. I love when we do a text giveaway. I like seeing like the number, like the text come in and then seeing like the area codes and where they're all from. Now for this cow giveaway, I mean, it's almost across the board 785, and then I see a 919 in there. And so I look it up and like, where's that from? North Carolina. Come on and raise up. Take your shirt off, twist it around your head, spin like a helicopter. That's a P.D. Pablo song. Dedicating that to our friends down at Oklahoma State in Stillwater for this Saturday's game for an 11 a.m. kick. Power Cat Game Day, 7 in the morning. But if you haven't heard, we're giving away 2 pairs of tickets for the Cal game tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So text CAL to 785-537-1350. And we're ready to go? All right, let's get to our good friend of the show, the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holthus. Mitch, how was the bye week? Did you do anything special?
Well, no, I've got a 92 7/8-year-old dad, so I went home to help him. So back to Smith Center. Now, the good thing was I was there at the glorious Sacred Acre of Hubbard Stadium, the home of the 10-time state champion Smith Center in Redmond, so I got to watch them in a classic battle against TMP of Hayes. That was fun. Talked to the team Thursday night, got to go to the game. Other than that, it was helping Dad in a lot of things. So overall, a good weekend, but one that I was being the good son in this one.
I heard a story one time from Zach Nemechek, former K-State tight end, who's on Power Cat Game Day with me. He told a story one time of you went to talk to the K-State football team one time, and apparently what happened was you gave the speech, you got them all fired up, you ended on an exclamation point, and not only did you leave the room, you just left the entire complex. Is that typically how you end speeches? You just leave the property?
No, not necessarily. I'm trying to think when that was. When would he have played?
So he would have been like 2010 to 2014.
Yeah, I think that's before they played Oklahoma. Either they played Oklahoma in Manhattan or they played Iowa State at Arrowhead. One of those two games. That might have been when I just did the mic drop and walked out. But they were headed to some Snyder meeting anyway, so it wasn't like we're going to sit around and play cards. but that's not normally my style. When I did the dig-in speech for Coach Kleiman last year, I hung around for a while and talked to the guys. But it was really, Smith Center's good this year, but 1A's loaded. They got a big game against Mound Ridge. But they did beat TMP. Now, here's where the local tie-in goes for you, because when I was speaking to the team Thursday night, the Smith Center staff goes, well, you know who's on the TMP staff? Thomas More Prep and Hayes. And they go, Hayden Gillum. I go, I thought he lived. So anyway, Hayden's on the TMP staff. And what they've done is try to clone the old Plainville Cardinals and turn them into TMP Monarchs, part of their recruiting efforts there. But glorious victory for Smith Center. They're moving on.
Do you still have a lot of family in the Smith Center area other than your dad?
Some, not as much as we used to, but tons of friends, obviously. And love going back there. That is good for my soul to go there, but sometimes there's a lot of work involved, so that kind of wears the soul out. But no, it was a good time, and my dad's doing okay, digging in, so he keeps fighting away. Don't let the old man in.
Well, you called your last game at the current Buffalo Bills Stadium, and they didn't go the way the Kansas City Chiefs wanted it to. Final score a couple of weeks ago, 28-21 the final. Chiefs now 5-4. Buffs improved to 6-2. I mean, are we okay with it? Because what we've seen in the past, it happens in the regular season all the time. It's when you want to get them in the playoffs, or is it a little bit different because the Chiefs have 4 losses on the year?
It's a little of both. Don't want to be wishy-washy with the answer, but I guess it's pretty wishy-washy. The matter is the fact that, that doesn't end the season. Probably the thing that would lean toward the second is that in the 9 years of winning the AFC West consecutively, there have been challengers, more than people would think, a 12-4 Raiders team, a 12-4 Charger team. But this is a team now that you're trailing, and to lose that game just shoves you back a little bit farther. It's going to make it a little tougher to take care of the Broncos. In fact, you probably ought to sweep them if you're going to try to win the division for a 10th straight year. But it wasn't like, oh my gosh, gloom and doom, everything's done. The NFL is very much that way. Football actually is very much that way because you only play once a week. But it's not like shovel dirt on us. I've had that discussion years and year. It's like, well, they're done. Looks like they're done, and then we come roaring back.
Mitch, trade deadline passes last Tuesday. Were you surprised to see the Chiefs kind of just stayed pat and are ready to roll it forward, moving forward?
Well, here's where we be careful. Just because a trade did not happen don't think that the Chiefs were standing pat.
Right.
It's got to be a right deal. It's got to be a deal that fits the cap. It's got to be something that kind of fits your team at the time. But there were efforts made, or at least inquiries made, to try to make a trade. But the fact that it didn't happen didn't mean that Beach didn't try or continues to burn and turn, because we've added guys even that clear waivers that aren't a trade as late as now in the season. Think of Terrell Suggs and Carlos Dunlap to some extent. So Beach doesn't sleep. He continues to look under every stone.
And then one position I want to ask about specifically at running back, and one player, do you think we're going to see Elijah Mitchell at some point this season? He's on the active 53-man roster, but haven't seen him yet this year.
Yeah, it's a real interesting question, and I don't know. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was activated off the practice squad for the Buffalo game, but as Pacheco comes back into the mix, and then you really have to add Rashee Rice to this discussion, because even though he's listed as a WR, we line him up on the backfield sometimes, or we run him on flip passes or jet sweeps or end arounds, or even bring him in motion and hand the ball off to him where he's not lining up as a traditional back. So I don't know. It would be at least remote unless there's a rash of injuries. But when you're starting to list all the running backs, the Chiefs are very kind of unconventional in the way they approach the running game. This isn't Jonathan Taylor. This is the sum of the parts, and Rice is going to be considered part of the sum of the parts. And so is the running game of Pat Mahomes, because Patrick's been very good this year. He's number one in the league in scramble plays of his productivity. And that's not just run to throw. that he'll run to run, not design runs, Colin Klein power runs of 2012 K-State, but he'll run effectively and has done that in the 5 wins. I have pinpointed, though, boys, the difference between the 5 wins and the 4 losses. You want it?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's the focus of my minutes with Mitch this week that are air on you guys and through the network, but also on Channel 13. I think tonight maybe they run it. But the point is, so many times, if you win the toss and defer, you know why you defer now, right? You get the last possession, generally the last possession of the second quarter, and the first possession of the third quarter. The Chiefs have won the toss 7 times in 9 games, and they've deferred each time. And it hasn't worked out just perfectly, but pretty close, where that gives you the last possession second quarter, first possession third quarter. And Detroit gave them another one where Detroit took the ball to start the game. Okay, in the 5 wins, follow my math here, that is 5 wins times 2 potential scores in those 5 games. End of second, start of third, 10 chances. In the 5 wins, the Chiefs have 7 touchdowns and a field goal. In the 3 losses, which would be 6 chances, follow my math here, because you've got 3 chances of an end of second, start of third, no touchdowns, 1 field goal, and 4 3-and-outs. So you can essentially, you can't lose the game, but you might. It's actually the culprit in the Jacksonville game. It's the reason they lost. It's the kind of the reason they lost the Buffalo game. So it's so important if you win the toss if you're going to double dip, I said you got to do it well. And the Chiefs have done it very well in the wins and poorly in the losses.
Voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, is our guest. Go a little cliche on this question here, but I mean, halfway point of the season, I think the Chiefs, they got a bye week at a good time, right? Right in the middle of the year, you've played 9, you still have 8 to go. You find yourself 2.5 back in the division, but there's time to climb back, including this Saturday in Denver or Sunday in Denver. To you, what is the big storyline about Kansas City, either personnel-wise, team-wise, heading into the second half of the season?
Can they recapture what they had from week 4 to week 8 offensively? Because if they do, they are the NFL's best offense, and for sure the NFL's most explosive offense. Defensively, can they find a rhythm and understanding, somewhat opponent-specific, but you've got to get the right personnel on the field. Buffalo got them in base personnel and attacked the linebackers with the tight ends. Buffalo had 150 yards from the tight ends, most of it against the linebackers. Well, depending on the team you play, even a team like this week, you may want to play more nickel. But who's your nickel personnel? And how do you change up your dime personnel? I don't think right now I could tell you what the perfect way would be, and usually Spags by now has got a pretty good idea. But I would say defensively, they've got to figure that rhythm out. And then offensively, get to the point where you were, starting with protection, being the most explosive team in the league. If they do, boys, if those things happen that I just laid out for you, it is not out of the realm of possibility this team could run the table. And then it's going to get real interesting when you get towards late December and what the narratives will be. So let's just all hang in there and take this thing week to week.
You mentioned protection holding up. That was, to me, probably the biggest key of the Buffalo loss. How big is it to have Josh Simmons back in the lineup? I know he's back in the building. Coach Reed talked about working him back in, but how big is him being back?
Well, it's big, no pun intended, but we also have to somewhat be realistic. Like, I don't know if you took your first day of swimming lessons. Where'd you take your first day of swimming lessons?
Let's say like first grade, maybe kindergarten. I'm not sure, somewhere in there.
Yeah, but where? Where'd you do it?
Oh, at Newton Recreational Swimming Pool.
Perfect. Newton, Kansas?
Yes.
Railers. Way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if they took you to the Amazon and threw you into with piranha-infested waters and with your water wings on. Like, go for it. You got to be careful here with Josh Simmons. Can he be 100% effective right out of the gate? He hadn't played in over a month, and these guys are piranha. So I think you have to be somewhat strategic in how you play them, when you play them, especially against this team, because they're so good in their pass rush. The fastest team in getting to the quarterback as well as the most productive team. So, yes, it will be helpful. And if Josh hits, then you've got him and Suamati on that side, and, of course, you got Creed and Trey, and then whatever you get figured out at right tackle. But, yes, that's where it starts, and that's where Buffalo made things miserable because Bosa had the night of his life. Rousseau, it's kind of like I laid out for you guys. It was those guys dictated the game on the outside, even Michael Hoyt, who they picked up from the Rams.
My swimming lessons were at the Clifton, Kansas public pool. It was $15 for the summer. How about those?
Oh, my gosh. And did anybody throw a great white shark in there just for fun?
There was actually one painted on the pool wall, a shark.
Well, so that it just gives you an idea. If you're not terrified enough as a kid going to the Clifton swimming pool, then the shark painting, go, kids, there might be one in the water. Just to, make you keep you focused on your breaststroke. But Clifton Cardinals, baby, one of the first state champions in Kansas football history.
Yeah, according to the people that own the pool, the shallow end and the deep end divide Clifton and Vining, for those that didn't know. All right, last thoughts here. This Denver game, could this plus, you add on the Indianapolis game the following week, is this a pretty big swing portion of the schedule to determine how Kansas City's going to fare out? Even though you said you're going to take it 1 week at a time, this is a very fascinating portion of the schedule.
And the fact that the Colts have a bye this week.
Yeah.
So they'll get a nice, tidy 2 weeks to prepare. And I'm going to throw in the Cowboy game because that's a double short week. It's think about K-State when they were trying to fix things and they're doing it on the fly. Go to Ireland, not a bad trip. Here comes Army. They're going to make every problem you got worse. And then you got to go to short week to Arizona. That was a Friday night game. That's a rough schedule. Well, the Chiefs not only have to play Denver this week, then we got Indianapolis, and then we go on a short week on the road to play Dallas on Thanksgiving. The other thing, and this is my minute with Mitch, I'm going to hit on during the Colts week, we're playing 4 of the top 6 offensive lines in the league in this stretch. We're playing the Bills. They're really good on the offensive line. The Broncos are really good, only allowed 10 sacks, number 1 in the league. The Colts maybe had the best offensive line in the league with their Olathe South Falcon at right tackle, and then the Cowboys. You could argue that's probably the best part of their team. So we got a gauntlet here ahead of us, but I'll go back. You got to stay focused. But yeah, by Friday after Thanksgiving, we're going to know a lot about the Chiefs. But if we peel these off, boys, then you might as well send them the storm warnings to the AFC.
So you left us on a bit of a cliffhanger there. Did you take swimming lessons growing up?
Oh, yeah. Smith Center pool, terrified, just like trying to get through it. But they didn't throw me into a piranha-filled tank. But yeah, I did. I hung in there. One of the greatest days of my summer. But you know what? Mom said you're going to do it. She grew up at Lake Elbow and Vern's Donuts, so she had gills when she was born. So it was like, you're going to do this and you're going to like it.
I know the Clifton pool doesn't sound that flashy, that great. It's no resort, but it is a heated pool, and you don't find that in small towns.
You do not, which means there's a whole lot of people that are just probably out there right now, just hanging out, I'm guessing. But when it's 105 degrees, probably the heated pool is probably not the thing that they want to do the most, but just me.
Mitch, we'll see what happens on Sunday with the 325.
By Clifton was one of the first state champions in Kansas high school history. And it was it was kind of a weird point system how they won. It was like 9-8 on points or something. It's a fascinating story.
My mom graduated from Clifton. She's a Cardinal. I didn't even know they were separate until, it wasn't that long ago. I've just always known Clifton Clyde. That's one school.
Man, you got to know the Clifton Cardinals and the Clyde Blue Jays. That's where you start every day thinking about that. Long live the Clifton Cardinals, baby.
All right, Mitch, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
See you guys.
That's the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holthus. Cut me off of my outro. That's all right. That's what Mitch does.
He's a pro.
3:25 kickoff. Of course, right here on K-Man pregame at 2. Well, we got a whole week of sports, including a K-State men's and women's doubleheader. And if you want to win a pair of tickets to the K-State men's game tomorrow against Cal, doesn't get you into the women's game, does get you an assigned seat at the men's game that tips off at 8. Text Cal 785-537-1350. And Cole, because I got to get out of here after MitchPom, is going to find 2 winners in hour number 2. Hour 2 is coming up next.
Game on. Tweet the game, KMAN. Or call 537-1350 and get in touch with the show. This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Whether you're buying your first home or moving into a new home, getting your home loan with K-State Credit Union's fast and easy. K-State Credit Union understands the Manhattan mortgage market and offers competitive interest rates, fast underwriting, and low closing costs. If you value exceptional personalized customer service for the life of your loan, visit kstatecu.com to apply for your mortgage today. Equal housing lender, insured by NCUA.
Are you prepared for the future? Ensuring your legacy and protecting your loved ones start with estate planning from Adair Law. From wills to trust to powers of attorney, the team at Adair Law will create a personalized plan that reflects your wishes and secures your assets for generations to come. Thinking about the future isn't always easy, but planning your estate can be. With Adair Law, you can protect what matters most, your family and your legacy. Don't leave their future to chance. Secure your peace of mind today with Adair Law. Protecting clients with compassion is what they do. Call 785-776-2000 today.
Hi, I'm Carla Hagemeister with Flint Hills Breadbasket. Food insecurity is growing in our community. In 2023, over 16% of Riley County residents were food insecure, and we are serving more people today than ever before. The people we serve are your neighbors, your students, your employees, your family, and your friends. The need for help has gone from 400 families a week to 600 families and is still growing. You can donate food, money, and your time to help your neighbors. Visit FlintHillsBreadBasket.org today to join our efforts to ensure that everyone has access to the healthy food they need to thrive.
Caregiving can be incredibly demanding, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Let Leonardville Nursing Home provide you and your loved one with Senior Day services, available Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 with prior arrangements. Run your errands, go to work or appointments while we provide compassionate care for your senior. Our trained, caring staff provides nutritious meals, social activities, and a safe, supporting environment. Contact Leonardville Nursing Home for Senior Day services, an invaluable solution for both caregivers and seniors.
I'm PJ Glasser, host of Send It In, here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. Penn State travels to East Lansing on Saturday to take on Michigan State. Even though MSU has not been good this year, Penn State is a 7-point favorite on the road as a winless team in conference play. Off the heels of a crushing loss to Indiana, I could definitely see this game being a letdown for the Nittany Lions. Give me Michigan State +7. I'm PJ Glasser, host of Send It In on the BetMGM Network. Bet smarter, beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me. Like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
Manhattan's home for news, sports, weather, and talk since 1950. News Radio, KMAN, Manhattan.
CBS News Brief. House Speaker Mike Johnson finally swore in Arizona Democrat Adelita Grijalva 7 weeks after she won a special election.
You will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you are about to enter, so help you God.
I do.
Congratulations, you're now a member of the 119th Congress.
Now the House has begun debating to vote on the final Senate-backed bill to reopen the government.
They weren't saying that the emails were false. They weren't saying that they were fabricated. In their criticism, they're saying that they were selectively redacted to avoid the name of a known Epstein victim.
That's CBS's Scott McFarland. With the White House pushing back on new emails, House Democrats released linking President Trump to Jeffrey Epstein. For the second straight day, the Dow closed with record highs. Business reporter Jason Brooks.
The blue chip index benefited from a rally in financial stocks led by Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, as well as a strong gain from United Health Group.
CBS News Brief. I'm Stacey Lynn.
latest news from the News Radio KMAN and Manhattan Mercury Newsroom.
Good Wednesday evening. I'm Louis Marion. Manhattan firefighters respond to a house fire. Junction City residents forced to boil water, and KDOT officials break ground on a massive interchange improvement project. These stories and more coming up. No injuries were reported after a house fire in Manhattan on Wednesday. The Manhattan Fire Department responded just before 11 a.m. to the incident at 2409 Lookout Drive. Fire crews found a single-story home with smoke coming from an attached garage. They were able to contain the fire within 15 minutes. Family members removed an occupant with a disability before firefighters arrived. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. A boil water advisory continues for a portion of the Junction City water supply system after a water main break early this morning. The impacted area is west of Jackson Street in Junction City, including Geary County Rural Water District No. 1. The advisory remains in place until further notice. According to Geary County Emergency Management, there are no plans for bottled water distribution for the large area of the community affected. Residents are encouraged to sign up for Everbridge notifications to receive the latest information. The water main break forced USD 475 to cancel school Wednesday at all schools in Junction City, including all after-school activities. Any updates will be posted to the USD 475 Facebook page. A $27.5 million project to ease congestion and improve safety at the K-18 Interstate 70 interchange is now officially underway. The Kansas Department of Transportation on Wednesday celebrated the launch of the comprehensive project to reconfigure the interchange, constructing a new flyover bridge, a modernized interchange, and a 2-mile auxiliary lane. The project also includes improvement of the southbound ramp connecting westbound I-70. Geary County Commission Chair Keith Asher.
It is phenomenal. It has been a long time coming, and the traffic has only increased over time, and they expect it to keep increasing. So this is a godsend.
The area sees frequent heavy traffic during weekday peak hours in K-State football games. U.S. Senator Jerry Moran helped secure federal funding for the project.
So in this case, it's a what we call congressionally designated spending, what used to be called an earmark. And we work with KDOT to try to make sure they have the necessary dollars to do projects that they're interested in doing and that we think have significant merit. This was one of them, and so there's $5 million of federal money to help put the money in place for the state of Kansas to do this project.
The existing interchange, including the bridge, will remain open both during and after construction. The project is expected to be completed in 2027. Potomac County officials are celebrating the reopening of the Bellevue Bridge on Schuman Road. The 70-year-old bridge links Potomac and Muncie counties over the Kansas River and had been deteriorating for years before the $11.2 million project began in October 2024. Potomac County Commission Chair Terry Force said Monday the county intends to have a public celebration of the bridge reopening.
The question up here from Commissioner Page was, are they going to have a flyover? But we thought maybe more appropriate would be a canoe float under or something. That's amazing. That needs to be celebrated.
The bridge officially reopened on Monday. The Kansas Museum of History in Topeka reopens November 22nd after a 3-year closure and a $6 million renovation, all centered on one question: what is Kansas? Director Sarah Bell says the redesigned 20,000-square-foot gallery tells the story of Kansas through its people. The museum's new exhibits explore 4 themes: bleeding, making, connecting, and changing. Many favorites remain, including the full-size train and a 1914 Longren biplane, joined by new artifacts like a 1955 Ford grain truck symbolizing Kansas community life. The reopening weekend will feature food trucks, music, Civil War reenactors, and appearances by artist Stan Hurd and Wizard of Oz characters. And finally tonight, Marion County will pay $3 million to settle lawsuits tied to the 2023 police raid on the Marion County Record newspaper and 2 homes. Under the agreements, the county admits regret for its role in the raid, saying they likely wouldn't have happened if, quote, established law had been reviewed and applied. The county will pay $1.5 million to newspaper owner and editor Eric Meyer, $650,000 to Ruth Herbal, a city council member, and smaller amounts to 2 reporters. Meyer says the deals clear the way for ongoing lawsuits against the city of Marion and former police chief Gideon Cody, who faces criminal charges over the raids. Your weather forecast and hour to the game are up next here on KMAN. I'm Louis Marion.
KMAN News brought to you by LNL Advisors. Local, genuine, and here for you.
News Radio KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 61 degrees with partly cloudy skies with little to no wind. As we head into tonight, increasing clouds and a low around 41. Those clouds sticking around through mid-morning tomorrow, then a gradual clearing and a high near 72 with sunshine in the afternoon. Mostly clear and a low around 46 tomorrow night. Moving to Friday, sunny with a high near 76. Overnight low of 50 on Friday night. Sunny and a high near 72 to start the weekend.
Weather on News Radio KMAN is brought to you by Sunset Zoo. Come see Santa and walk the Luminary Trail November 29th and 30th. For tickets and times, visit sunsetzoo.com.
This represents the scores, the offensive point, the points the Cats are putting on the board in basketball compared to last year. They're higher.
They are indeed.
Higher numbers, good stuff. Number 1 in the nation. 3-pointers. Go Cats. Well, still to come here in hour number 2, my recorded interview from earlier today with Oklahoma State beat writer McClain Baxley. He is from GoPokes.com. Speak to him for a few moments to take a look at Saturday's game, plus the whole shirt thing, or the bros in Stillwater taking off the shirts, spinning them around. You're seeing it all over college football, but it started this year in Stillwater. Plus, has Colin Klein interviewed for the Oklahoma State job? We will get that answer from McClain Baxley coming up. He'll hear a little bit later on. But speaking of Cal, it's your second to last call for Texas. If you want to win a pair of tickets to the Cal matchup for K-State men's basketball tomorrow night, 8 p.m., text CAL, that's C-A-L, CAL, to 785-537-1350. Unfortunately, COW, C-O-W, will not get you the tickets, so we're giving away 2 pairs. All right, let's get to it. Speaking of the matchup, it's time to officially, on the record, get you a prediction.
Here's MitchPom with tonight's prediction.
Cats are 2-0, Cal 3-0, with a familiar face on the team. 9th meeting all time tomorrow night in Bramlage. The Cats lead all time 7-1. You remember the last time these two teams met?
First year of the Jerome Tang era.
I think you mean Jerome Yang.
This is true.
They got the name wrong. The wrong coach was on TV. And I think it was Coach Sutton that they put on the screen. He was just kind of sitting and
minding his own business.
Yeah, just kind of, watching the game. And meanwhile, the head coach is up and coaching. Yeah. But K-State won that game. That was Jerome Tang's first ever road trip as a Wildcat head coach. On November 11th of 2022, Cats won 63-54. Second meeting ever tomorrow in Manhattan. The last one, 2007, Cats won 82-75. So, I mentioned it earlier. The recent headlines here for K-State, 2-0. Wins over Greensboro and Bellarmine. Nobody is shooting the 3-ball like K-State is right now. Making 14 a game. They're shooting 56%. That's the best mark in the country for that many shots. And this is the first team to do that in the first couple of games since 2017, and it was happened to be none other than North Florida the last time to shoot the 3 to open a season like what K-State's doing right now. And their head coach is now with K-State. 5 players are averaging 10 points or more through the first couple of games, led by, of course, the All-American candidate, once again, P.J. Haggerty with 25 points per game. Nate Johnson at 15.5. The same average as Abdi Bashir. How about David Castillo, 2 games in, the fourth leading scorer at 13 a game. And then Kamari McGriff there at the 5, averaging 10 points a game. Now, K-State also one of the nation's leaders in assists per game at 23. That's a great number. Turnover issues, that's kind of the bugaboo right now. And, 17 per game, looking to improve on that, and of course improving on defense as well. Let's take a look at Cal. The Golden Bears. They don't typically win a lot of games. As a matter of fact, I looked this up earlier. The last time Cal had a winning record in men's basketball, the 16-17 season when Quanzo Martin was the head coach. Their head coach is Mark Madsen, who actually just got his 100th win as a head coach the other night, Monday night against Cal State Fullerton, which Cal won that game by 28. They won their previous game over Wright State, who was KenPom ranking 222. Cal won that game by 10 points. And then their opener against CSU Bakersfield, Cal won by 27. Now, like a lot of other teams, Cal's roster is pretty much brand new. 13 newcomers to this team. 9 transfers, 4 true freshmen, and according to the notes of Cal, their 9 additions, 6 of them are post players. Forwards.
They're the anti-K-State team.
Big boys, yeah. The thing is, though, they're not really led by these forwards.
They aren't.
They just advertise that. Like, there's nothing that really says, oh, yeah, their height is a
dominant down
game
low.
Changer.
Yeah.
Now, that's not the case whatsoever. But they do have they do have a 7-footer that plays a minute a game, you know? DK Doot is his name, I believe. But anyway, let's take a look at the team of Cal. They're ranked 83rd on KenPom. You know, like K-State, what really stood out to me is that they're a very solid second-half scoring team. They're averaging 48 a game in the second half. That's quite the mark. But K-State is 4th in the country through 2 games, averaging 56 points per game in the second half. Now, let's remember, neither of these teams have truly been what you would say tested. Other than, Cal with Wright State was tested. I mean, that was a 2-possession game in the final 3 minutes of that contest. But they haven't faced a name opponent until facing each other tomorrow night. They struggle to shoot the 3. 28.4%. Obviously, K-State's the best right now in the country at shooting the 3. But they did make 11 in their last game. They're not bad from 2. They're 58% on the season. What they do very well is get to the free throw line. And, K-State's going to have to do a good job trying to defend without fouling. They get to the free throw line 29 times per game. That's a high number. They're shooting well as well from the free throw line, 82%. That is top 30 in the nation. They're a better defensive than offensive rebounding team, and really the only number that Cal beats KSU in on offense is taking care of the basketball, just 10.5 turnovers on average for the first 3 games. K-State's right now, like I mentioned, averaging 17. And really looking at their defense, there's nothing that scares me. It's like K-State. Everything is either average at best to, slightly to moderately below average. Stuff they need to work on. It's okay. It's not backbreaking, but it needs to get better. I mean, one kind of real blemish is right now for somehow for Cal, they're only averaging 4 steals a game. It's a low number. It's a low number. So anyway, not scary. Not scary. Now, personnel-wise, they do have a couple of players that can hit shots. And folks, like Game 3 last year against a name opponent, that team will feature, as their top player, a former K-State Wildcat under Jerome Tang. Last year, in a loss to LSU, was Cam Carter. This year, it's Day-Day Ames, who came to K-State 2 years ago as a freshman, played 31 games, 5 points a game. After 2 years ago, went to Virginia, did well, and now he's the guy at Cal. And let me just say this real quick. I've been doing public address announcing for K-State sports. I believe this is my 10th season. Hold your applause, please, please. We can save it for later. Save it for when I retire. Day-Day Ames was my, and it's still to this day, all time, my least favorite name to announce. I just couldn't figure out a good way to announce that name. It sucked.
Which is unfortunate because it's a pretty cool name.
You got 3 names, bang, 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 1 syllable. Day-Day. There's nothing to do. You couldn't do anything with it. Like, I was able to get creative with Max Jones, but, going Max Jones. Like, you couldn't even do that with Day-Day Ames. Like, there's no creativity with that. That name sucks. I'm sorry. It just sucks. Nothing I could do with it. Anyway, now he's a heel, so I could just go Day-Day Ames and call it a day. But with Cal, he's their leading scorer, 22 points per game. He's 60% from 3. He's 9 of 15, so he's making 3 a game. A volume shooter, 14 shots a game. He's good from everywhere. He's really developed into a very solid basketball player. But he's not alone. And obviously he's a major factor. Like, we do not want to see 2 years in a row a former Cat come in and just embarrass you. As I said last week, I feel like this year's a little different. I don't expect that to be, I think he's going to score some points. Expect Day-Day Ames to score some points. But I don't think he's going to need some help. There's a couple of other players that stand out. 6'8" forward, John Camden. This is out his fourth school. He's a super senior, and he's second in scoring at 17 a game. He's really their only other three-point shooter. They have no depth when it comes to three-point shooters. There's only 4 on the team that's attempted one, and they have 2 that shoot 35% or better. The others are like 10%. But he's made 8 this year. He can be a scary shooter. Like, you don't want to leave him open all night because he made 96 last year for Delaware. And then 6'3" sophomore guard Justin Pippen. Yes, he is the son of Scottie Pippen. Will Scottie be there tomorrow? I don't know. I hope so. That would be sweet. He's a very PJ Haggerty type. He will shoot from distance, but his comfort zone is driving, getting downhill. That's where he's best. That shows off the athleticism. He's above average. He's not PJ Haggerty, but he's still pretty good, and he's averaging 14 points. But as well, PJ Haggerty-wise, he also can fill up a box score, man. 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals per game. That's a great stat line. And then after that, they have Chris Bell and Lee Dort, forwards who average 10 a game, and outside of that, they have nobody averaging more than 4. Not a deep team, but cannot wrap up MitchPom without doing some famous alumni. Now, it's Cal Berkeley, folks. The list of famous alumni is in lists. So I decided to do this. Cal has more fictional alumni from TV shows and movies than K-State does actual famous alumni. So these are all fictional alumni for Cal. Let's start with Cole. You've seen the show 24, right?
I've seen a couple of seasons, yeah.
Well, in the show, Jack Bauer, the lead character, Kiefer Sutherland, he graduated with a Master's of Science in Criminology and Law at Berkeley. But you know what? MitchPom always does its digging. Does some fact-checking, and it turns out that degree does not exist at Cal. So strike one. Put him on the bench, coach. Our next fictional alum of Cal is Enid Wexler. Legally Blonde. She went to Cal, and she got a PhD in women's studies with the emphasis in the history of combat. And then finally, from the USA Network, you remember the show Monk?
I do not. Knew the first two, not familiar with that last one.
The title character, Adrian Monk, graduated from Berkeley. That was mentioned in a couple of episodes. I'm not intimidated by Cal. They have some solid pieces. Day-Day Ames is a great basketball player. You look back and think, man, that would have been great to keep him around because he is a talented kid. He was very talented coming out of high school. But K-State is a deeper team. They are a more talented team. Neither team is playing the best defense in the world. But K-State is playing at home as well. Expect more fans. I just like K-State's chances because of their depth. And they do have definitely more shooters than Cal does. Really, the defense is not a factor, in my opinion. I think this is just one of those games K-State should and will be able to outscore Cal. KenPom says a 74% chance, 82-75. MitchPom is going to bump that up to 84%. K-State is able to get it done. Final score, 91-76. And MitchPom is going to move on to 3-0 on the season.
I'll just say, I don't really have a ton more thoughts. I mean, you pretty much covered it all, including my guy, Jack Bauer. We'll just say, 89-81.
I think it's a little closer.
But I think it's a late 3 that puts Cal at 81. So really, in essence, it was 89-78.
Well, I was watching some film, and on the defensive end, they were less impressive than K-State was, I thought.
Which, I mean,
just kind of
say that tips the balance a little bit to K-State because you know that they can pour it in.
Lackluster effort at times. They looked bad at times against, obviously, lesser opponents. All right, we'll take a break. Last call If you want to win Cal tickets for tomorrow night's game, 8 o'clock tip-off, text CAL, C-A-L, to 785-537-1350. Giving away 2 pairs of tickets. Cole will give those away when we play our next segment, because I'm going to bounce, but we have a recorded interview and a preview of the Oklahoma State Cowboys with Saturday's game kicking off at 11 a.m., Powercat Game Day, 7 in the morning, with McClain Baxley from GoPokes.com. That's up next on the game.
Miss part of the show?
No! God, please, no! No! No!
Really? Check it out on demand at 1350kman.com. You're listening to The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Whether it's game day or a night out with great live music, Bottle Cap Sports Bar delivers the atmosphere you're looking for. It's Manhattan's go-to spot for catching every Wildcats or Chiefs game and enjoying live music that plays the songs you actually know. Come early for a good seat, great music, and cold drinks served up right. Stay in the loop. Check out their Facebook page for the full schedule of events. Bottle Caps, where the music's live, the game's always on, and the vibe is just right.
Bottle Cap Sports Bar located on West Anderson across from Dairy Queen.
American Family Insurance.
Here's something most people don't realize. American Family Insurance offers life insurance. If you have people who count on you, call Wild & Associates LLC today. Let's make sure your family's life insurance needs are covered. This is Rob Wild, agency owner, Wild & Associates, LLC.
American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
If Kansas weather has taught us anything, it's to be prepared for everything. It's time to call M&S Plumbing, Heating and Air to make sure your furnace is ready. From full safety inspections to replacing your furnace, M&S Plumbing will keep you and your family warm this winter. If it's been a while since you've had your furnace serviced and inspected, be sure to call and schedule your appointment today. Simple fixes now can save you big money later.
Call the experts who care. M&S Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Rake in all the benefits of fall at Blueville Nursery. Fall is the perfect time to plant trees, shrubs, and perennials. Warmer soil temps and cooler air temps give plants just what they need to thrive and reduce stress next summer. Plant fall bulbs to get an early dose of color next spring. Don't forget to apply fertile and winterizer to your lawn. Blueville Garden Store is open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 4. Come give us a visit at Blueville Nursery, where you'll always find the friendly smile and expert advice. Located at the corner of Scenic Drive and Anderson and Manhattan.
Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Center offers innovative, cutting-edge physical therapy, from blood flow restriction rehabilitation, dry needling, DARI-A biochemical movement analysis, fall prevention, and return to sport. OSMC Physical Therapy has over 75 years of combined treatment experience and deliver a successful and positive outcome while making the rehabilitation process pleasant and enjoyable. At Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Physical Therapy, no referrals are needed to schedule your therapy appointment. For more information, visit us at kansasortho.com.
When severe weather rolls in, every second counts, and we're here to keep you ahead of the storm. Count on us for the latest alerts, live updates, and real-time tracking to help protect you, your family, and your property. From heavy rain and damaging winds to hail and dangerous storms, we'll guide you through the changing conditions and keep you informed when it matters most. Powered by Candlewood Veterinary Clinic, Manhattan Wrecker, Hummel Tree Service, Tallgrass Windows, and Ozone Roofing.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
For area high school scores, recaps, league standings, and coach interviews, check out Scoreboard Saturday at 8 a.m. during football and basketball season, including coverage of the Centennial League, NCKL, Big East League, Flint Hills League, and the Twin Valley League. Scoreboard Saturday on News Radio KMAN is powered by WTC Communications. I'm Cole Beschendorf with the Game Sports Update brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. K-State women's basketball officially signed guard Sage Henry out of Arizona for the 2026-27 roster early Wednesday afternoon. Henry, who verbally committed to the Wildcats back in June, chose K-State over Missouri, Cal, Utah, and several other schools. In her junior season at Hamilton High School, Henry averaged 15 points, 6 boards, and 2 steals per game, helping the Huskies to a 6A state championship. The Wildcats will be back in action on Thursday for a men's and women's doubleheader, with the women tipping off at 4 against South Dakota with pregame coverage beginning at 3:30, the men facing Cal at 8 with pregame at 7. K-State football head coach Chris Kleiman spoke with the media on Monday ahead of K-State's road game at Oklahoma State this Saturday. He said despite the Cowboys' record, just 1-8 on the season and winless in Big 12 play, there are still several challenges that they present the Wildcats.
They're coming off an open week, and they'd played 7 games in a row, I think. The fact that they have a bunch of seniors, I'm sure that have some pride and want to find a way to get a big win, and they've played some teams really well at home. And so for us, it's about us, really, of making sure we have really good preparation and have great energy and play with great physicality. They've got some really good football players. So
kick at 11 and Power Cat game day coverage at 7. Cole Dutchendorf with you back on the game. And before we get into Mitch's pre-recorded interview with GoPokes.com's McClain Baxley previewing the Oklahoma State game against K-State on Saturday, your absolute last call. You got until, we're going to say 5:40 will be the cutoff to get your name into the drawing. We have 2 pairs of tickets for the Cal game on Thursday between K-State and Cal. Text our phone line at 785-587-1350. You have until 5:40. That's when it'll stop. I will be texting 2 random lucky winners for those tickets. But now we have Mitch's conversation with, again, McClain Baxley from GoPokes.com previewing Oklahoma State, K-State on Saturday.
So I noticed on your X account in your bio, you are a fan of field storming like I am as well. But are you a fan of a section full of bros taking their shirts off and spinning them around, because I believe that got started at Oklahoma State a few weeks back?
It's been something to watch for sure. I mean, I think I can't remember what. I think it might have been Cincinnati game a couple of weeks in Cincinnati or Houston back in early October, where the product on the field was not going well, and so it started off as 1 or 2 guys took their shirts off, and then it kind of multiplied, and then now it's become something that's kind of impacted other sports. You know, we've seen it at basketball games, and last week at a wrestling duel, fans in the stands shirtless, and now we've seen it at other schools across the country. Teams that have winning teams and losing teams alike are coming together in this cause of shirtless men in the stands. So it's been fun to watch. Again, the on-field product has been disappointing for many, but giving Oklahoma State something to cheer for, as silly as it might be.
Yeah, it's super trendy now, and I'm sure K-State fans are going to see it at Boone Pickens on Saturday. But now, is it happening at a certain time in a game, or is it just now a section? That's the designated section if you want to take your shirt off. It's going to be a warm day in Stillwater on Saturday as well, so it's going to be weather permitting for this thing to happen.
Yeah, it still feels very organic. I think, obviously the Oklahoma State athletics department, social media accounts have posted pictures and videos of it, but I think it's still fairly organic of that one section, being shirtless for much of the game. I'm not sure. They started off, I don't think they entered the stadium shirtless, but pretty early on, I mean, it's become the trend to do, for football games. So yeah, I mean, definitely Kansas State. If Kansas State fans are still looking to buy tickets and want to get in that section, I'm sure they can find their way to wear a little bit less clothing Saturday morning.
Well, McClain, another trendy thing in college football this year have been the firing of coaches mid-season, and one of the first of the year was, of course, Mike Gundy after 21-plus seasons. He was let go after the Tulsa loss. We did speak about that, but I want to look a little bit ahead after the firing of Mike Gundy. What has happened to the team since? Have a number of guys decided, look, I'm just going to redshirt, go into the transfer portal? Are guys sticking around? Has it affected the recruiting class? What has been the hit when it comes to personnel in the future of of Cowboy football with the firing of Mike Gundy?
It's impacted all of it that you mentioned. They had a pretty much after they fired him after the third game, so players can play at the 4 games. So there weren't many transfers directly after Gundy was fired. But after that 4th game against Baylor, they had 4 games played, so a lot of players that had not used their red shirt, into the transfer portal and chose to take off the season. And then, from a high school class, their recruiting class is cut in half. A lot of decommits. A lot of those prospects have already committed elsewhere. A couple of them have come back and are still kind of waiting to see who the next coach will be, who the next coaching staff will be, and kind of make the decision then. But it's definitely impacted pretty much all personnel from top to bottom. Obviously, different coaches have taken on different roles. Doug Meacham was the offensive coordinator, and now he's the interim head coach. Clint Bowen started the year as an offensive analyst, and now he's the interim defensive coordinator after they got rid of Todd Grantham after that Baylor game. So from top to bottom, from current players to high school, 2026 kids to the future, as far as offers and getting kids on campus, it's impacted all of them, which is expected. It's not unique to Stillwater or Oklahoma State at all, but it's something that the program and the fan base and everybody's had to kind of deal with for longer than in past years. You might see firings pick up in October or November, get a couple of weeks head start to the start of the season, but it's a little rare that it's taken. By the time the season ends, it will have been about 2.5 months since they fired Gundy. So it definitely has its impact on the program.
Yeah, McClain, you mentioned Doug Meacham, who's the interim head coach. And since he has been the guy in charge doing the press conferences and all that stuff, Oklahoma State is 0-6. But I guess what we would like to know as K-State fans is, how has he been coaching during the games? Like, he's the OC, right? So is he pulling out all the stops? Is it kind of bread and butter stuff, keeping it simple, or are we getting a little bit of everything on the field since he's been the guy in charge?
It's that first game post Gundy against Baylor. It was a home game, and there was a lot of trick plays. They used Sam Jackson at quarterback. He's a receiver, and it had a lot of trickeration, and it was a lot of fun to watch. And then after that game, teams kind of locked in and realized what they were trying to do. And the next week they went to Arizona, tried to do a lot of trickeration and movement, and it just did not work as well because Arizona was probably preparing for it more. After the Arizona game, he gave play calling duties to Kevin Johns, the quarterback's coach, who has OC experience in the past, and so Meacham is now just kind of the largely what a lot of coaches are, and just dealing with timeouts, dealing with substitution, dealing with final calls. Are we going for it on 4th down? Are we punting? Are we kicking a field goal? Kind of those kind of big picture decisions that happen during a game and during a game week, as he's delegated some of those duties that he was hired to do back in December. He's definitely kind of taken some stuff off of his plate, both by choice and by what he thought would be better for the program.
McClain Baxley is our guest, Oklahoma State beat writer and publisher at GoPokes.com. We're not going to necessarily break down, Oklahoma State necessarily. The numbers aren't great, obviously. They're 0-6 in Big 12 play. Things are certainly now in transitional mode as I'm sure Pokes fans are just waiting to hear who this next head coach is going to be. But we will take a look at quarterback because that is obviously an important position. And whoever that quarterback is going to be facing a K-State defense that's taken some hits here recently, as K-State has lost now their 2 best players on defense, and Austin remain a linebacker, and on the edge, Tobias and Sami. According to what I've just seen on social media, is it going to be former K-State recruit Zane Flores at quarterback against K-State?
Yes, yeah. Barring anything insane, but yeah, we're fully expecting Zane to be back. He returned 2 weeks ago at Kansas, and actually had his best game. They kind of numbers wise, he looks confident in throwing. He looks confident running the offense, handing the ball off and doing everything that you need to as quarterback. Obviously, second half did not go as well, and they lost the game still, but he's gaining confidence as he's gone on. This is his first year playing, even though it's the 3rd year in the program, the first year playing. But yeah, he's going to be expected to play this week and likely the rest of the season as a redshirt freshman.
Has anybody on either side of the ball, special teams, anywhere, in the post-Mike Gundy era of this season of Oklahoma State football been any sort of surprise, playing well, been a good player for Oklahoma State despite losing 6 straight?
I think Rodney Fields, running back, he's a redshirt freshman from the Oklahoma City area. He came into this year as, competing for the starting job at running back, replacing Ollie Gordon from last year. And he's taken on, when given the opportunity, he's looked really good. It's been kind of, all of us beat writers and everybody that follows the program has been a little surprised with the way they've used him or not used him. But, when he gets the ball, he's got good speed, he's got good awareness. And he's been really impressive, despite, like you said, on the scoreboard and in the stat sheets, a little underwhelming. But he's been someone that I'm not sure if he was a surprise because again we were expecting him to kind of be one of those 2 or 3 running backs to take over. But it's nice to see that he's definitely filled that role, filled that expectation despite the losses.
So as now we're in November and we're in the home stretch of the regular season, are any names starting to pop up, or are there any favorites? Any either favorites for the fans or for the administration that we know of that could potentially be the next head coach at Oklahoma State?
Yeah, I think they've narrowed some things down. I think they've got a couple of head coaches that are in contention, a couple of coordinators that are still in contention. So from where we started back late September to now, they definitely narrowed some things down. A couple, Eric Morris, the North Texas head coach, the name that continues to rise. Alex Golish, the head coach at USF, he was a graduate assistant, about a decade and a half ago. Colin Klein, who K-State fans are familiar with, he's now the offense coordinator at A&M. He's the guy that's continued to we continue to hear his name, and he's in the interview process and everything. So they've got their names narrowed down to 3, 4, 5 guys. As they're about 2 or 3 weeks away from hopefully making that call and making that hire official. But yeah, it's been a fun little journey of covering a 2-month-long coaching search, something that I've never had to do. Very few people have had to do, but it's been we're excited for it to end.
You mentioned the name that is who K-State fans want to be the next head coach. Once Chris Kleiman, whatever happens with him, retirement, whatever in the future, they want Colin Klein to be the next guy, and I totally understand that. I mean, that he's one of the best offense coordinators in the country. Look what Texas A&M, where they're at right now under his leadership on offense. But you can confirm that he has interviewed for the job at Oklahoma State?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to make too many K-State fans, I'm sure, feel too great about that because they're worried that if he takes the Oklahoma State job, then he's not going to want to come to K-State and he can move on maybe to the SEC or something. I mean, a lot of worry about that. But, the next step as well is you think at this day and age of college football, a head coach is going to want to have, especially at this level, the resources to be able to go recruit, build the team he wants, and be successful. How do you feel about Oklahoma State's resources when it comes to hiring a new head coach? Is it reset mode, or should this coach have what he needs to get the job done?
I think it's both. I think it's going to be a reset. There's going to be a lot of players that leave. There's going to be a lot of coaches that, leave and resetting personnel-wise. But I think there's still a lot of pride, a lot of passion for Oklahoma State football from the boosters, from the fan base, from alumni, and supporters, both financially and, showing up on game day. So I think whoever they're not going to be able to compete with, the high, SEC or, very high profile Big Ten schools. But Oklahoma State can definitely hold their own, I believe, financially from an NIL, from paying the coach, paying his coaches, assistants, all that side of the sport. That's become one of the focal points of the sport in the last couple of years. But yeah, I think Oklahoma State has the foundation, has the backers that when a hire is made, that they'll be able to kind of dive into the transfer portal, dive in, and really have the resources to compete with a lot of schools going forward.
A couple more thoughts here, McClain. What do you think Mike Gundy should do next? Should he continue coaching? Should Mike Gundy get in a booth, start calling games? Should he do a pregame show? What do you think would be best for him?
Well, I think if I was given $15 million, you'd never see me again, Mitch. But he's not that type of guy. He's a guy that's very prideful, very wants to go out on top. So there were reports that his brother Cale had said that he still wants to go into coaching. I know he's kind of been mentioned for some of these jobs, both head coaching or different coordinator roles across the country. So I think he's going to, whether that's in 2026 or 2027. I don't think he's done coaching, and so I think what we've seen in the past is fired coaches, they have a year where they do the halftime show on ESPNU or Fox Sports or stuff, and then the next year they get back onto the sidelines in a coaching role. So I think that's the trajectory that I see Mike going in. He's a guy that's had done the same thing pretty much for 30 plus years, many of them in Stillwater. So I don't think he can just turn that off, despite his age, despite his experience, all that stuff. I think he's a guy that's still going to want to go out and prove that he can still coach and still do a good job elsewhere.
All right, McClain, one last thing real quick. Give me a couple of thoughts on basketball. I saw the men, they're off to a 2-0 start. I think they play tonight, and then the women, I mean, they're crushing some threes right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're, I think, combined 7-0, the men and women. The men won on Sunday against Texas A&M in a pretty comfortable win. I think A&M scored a layup first, and then OSU led the rest of the way in a pretty convincing fashion. So they look really good. And they haven't even gotten Anthony Roy. He's a transfer from Green Bay. He's a prolific scorer. He has yet to play so far. So that's good for the Cowboys and Steve Lutz. And then on the women's side, obviously, they haven't played, any. I'm not sure if any of the 5 teams they've played will make the NCAA tournament. But the fact that they're able to put up points and also keep their opponents to a low scoring total, they've won. I think 3 or 4 of their games have won by 50 plus points. They've scored 100 points in 4 out of 5. And they just shoot the ball incredibly efficiently, incredibly well. They share the ball a lot of assists, and they're really fun to watch. And so I think come the end of the year, kind of at the end of 2025, when they're starting Big 12 play, and they'll have a lot of confidence and a lot of expectations to compete for the Big 12 title.
All right, McClain, good stuff. Thanks for chatting to us about the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and we'll talk to you down the road. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
That was Mitch's conversation with GoPokes.com writer McClain Baxley previewing K-State and Oklahoma State on Saturday. I have just sent those text messages out to the 2 lucky winners for the pairs of tickets for the Cal game. 2 pairs of tickets, 2 winners. So check your phones. If you got a text from me, just respond to me so we can hopefully give you that shout out here to end the show. When we come back, basically just some housekeeping things. We'll go over the schedule for a very busy weekend and really rest of the week for sports right here on News Radio KMAN. That's after a word. You're listening to The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Your home for K-State sports.
Still going. Roberson, touchdown. What a run. Harry Houdini could not have escaped any better than Al Roberson did on that run.
This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
The Ramsey Show. Completely laser focusing is the number one key to becoming debt-free. Everybody tries to do about 6 things at once. I'm going to put money in my kid's college. I'm going to put money in my retirement. I'm going to put money extra on the house. I'm going to use credit card points. And that's what most Americans do. It is not a math problem as much as it is an emotional decision and this incredible focus.
Life and money advice. The Ramsey Show, weekdays from 10 to 1 on News Radio KMAN.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
There are many times I thought, I can't do this. I mean, what parent isn't worried about? What am I not doing right? What am I not doing enough? And then I realized, wait, that's being a parent.
Don't worry about being perfect. I've had around 3 other mother figures in my life, but only one of them has taught me how a mother loves.
The greatest reward for me is he makes me better every day.
I would tell a family considering adopting a teenager that teenager, whoever it is, needs you, and they need what you have to offer.
Taylor's given me hope. He's our son, and that is what he will always be.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
NHL star Matt Martin for American Humane.
I've had my fair share of bruises and injuries, but for many who put their lives on the line every day, it's not always the injuries you can see that hurt the most. Every single day, 184 veterans are diagnosed with post-traumatic stress. When medications and therapy don't help, professionally trained service dogs can. American Humane has created a free guide to help veterans obtain these life-saving animals. For help, please go to AmericanHumane.org.
News Radio KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 61 degrees with partly cloudy skies and little to no wind. As we head into the evening, an overnight low of 41 with increasing clouds. Those clouds will remain tomorrow through the mid-morning, then a gradual clearing with sunny skies in the afternoon and a high near 72. Mostly clear and a low around 46 tomorrow night, heading to Friday, sunny with a high near 76. Sunny and a high near 72 to start out the weekend on Saturday. Cole with you back on the game, just putting a bow on today's show. Last show of the week if you haven't heard, because tomorrow we got a doubleheader for basketball here at K-State with women pregame starting at 3:30 right here on News Radio KMAN, also on Sunny 102.5 as they will be taking on South Dakota, and then pregame for the men's game will be at 7 o'clock. That'll be against Cal. Day Ames going to be back into the building for the first time since his freshman year, the 2023 season. Man, that was one of the few players that I was like, dang, I really wish we could have kept Day around. Really liked watching him play. He always played with a ton of energy, and I thought there was a very high ceiling on his game, and he has reached that so far early in the season, averaging around 20 points a game for Cal, albeit just through 3 games against not the greatest competition in the world, but hey, that's still nothing to sniff your nose at. He's been really good so far this season, but I hope he stinks tomorrow against K-State. Some more things to go over the next couple of days. On Friday, Mitch and I will be heading south on I-35, watching and calling Manhattan at Mays, the number 1 seed on the west side of Class 6A. That'll have pregame at 6:30 with kickoff at around 7 in the sectional round of the Class 6A state playoffs. Then on Saturday, we'll have Scoreboard Saturday. That'll be Mitch bright and early. 6 in the morning is Scoreboard Saturday, recapping all of the sectional rounds across the state of Kansas, from 8-man all the way up to 6A. Who knows? You might even get some 6-man in. Power Kick Game Day then beginning at 7 a.m. That'll be here on News Radio KMAN. Also on 1015 K-Rock, and then also online at PowerCatGameDay.com for a couple of hours of coverage. We'll have coverage from Learfield starting at 9 a.m., and then kickoff between K-State and Oklahoma State will be following that at 11 for K-State trying to win just their second time in Stillwater in the 21st century. That's just a crazy stat. Sunday, last thing to go over is women's basketball taking on Texas A&M. That is a home game with pregame coverage at 12:30, tipping off at 1 in the afternoon. It'll be a join in progress for the biggest AFC West game for the Chiefs in quite a while as they take on Denver. That game will be kicking off at 3:25. So a busy slate. By the way, we got a couple of the winners. Jason McCurry, Alicia Walsh, congratulations. Going to the Cal game tomorrow evening. Here's hoping the Cats pick up a couple of wins. For Mitch, who's out at Manhattan High, I'm Cole. We'll see you next week.
Jeff Collier was Kansas's 47th governor and the Kansas chairman of Donald Trump's 2024 campaign. There's a reason President Trump said Jeff Collier was one hell of a governor. Collier cut taxes, eliminated wasteful spending, and created record jobs.